All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for RWBY Volume 6, Chapter 4. Okay, so that's how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have an episode coming with 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Nice little elite speak there for us. But yeah, we're going to have some processing time. Please don't hurt the messenger. Like, please don't.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
I actually think we do.
Really?
I actually think we do. Irrational whatevers and stuff like that. Like on a practical note, I think that for the most part, it's more going to be a thing of like Oscar is going to be, just like guys, like
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the emotional hurt, like it could be more of an emotional hurt.
Emotional
messenger,
hurting, yeah.
Because
that's
like,
what I mean. Yeah.
I don't even see how they could still be like visibly like hot angry after this. Like it's like if I heard something like that, I'd just be like, gotcha. That's how it is. Like,
no, I completely disagree because because the main thing is that they've been going at this whole thing under the the pretext basically that Ozpin
can be trusted.
Not can be trusted, but that he has like an end goal in mind. And it's like, what can you have as an end goal if your enemy is immortal and it's you can't stop Salem?
Right, exactly. It's just you don't lose, Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though. Not losing against an unending horde of Grimm doesn't sound like a great thing, right? Now, they can talk about it and stuff and kind of figure out like, okay, we know that the main goal here is to keep Salem from getting all the relics until we're ready. So at the very least, we need to maintain our hold on the relics by protecting the academies, but also by going around to all the academies and sharing, essentially, Ozpin, you need to suck it up and share this. Like, you need to share this with people. And in the same way that Salem went around to everyone else and got them all rallied up against the gods.
They need to do like a Mass Effect 3, like unite the races.
Exactly. And that's the thing that, it's the one thing that Salem has, working for her is her anonymity, so she can divide them from the shadows.
Right.
But if we bring her to the light, it's kind of a do or die situation for them because then they could turn against them and everyone could Atlas up and, be like, oh, well, okay, now we're just gonna like, nope.
So let's say we get into this and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I just can't help but just chat about this stuff. So guys, without further ado, let's get into this now. Funny thing is we could actually learn the lyrics to this song now. There's already I think a full lyric video set up by Flint. Flint RWBY, the guy we met at RTX.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh. Whoa. Yeah, we have Cthulhu, Old One Grimm in the cave.
Yeah, we even saw Neo right there for a second.
No, I think
that was Pink Parasol.
Yeah, I think that the closest everyone's done to analyzing that scene is that they see potentially something that could be Neo, but there's no definite Neo stuff, not even an exact Neo Parasol.
Whoa.
I just know people have zoomed in and looked at everything, and it's it might look like it, and the umbrellas might be a reference to that.
Sure, maybe that's like Little Miss Malachite or something.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, like they could go into the whole Cinder thing some more this episode.
Sure.
That would be crazy though if they hid differences in each opening.
Salem can't be killed.
That would be pretty cool.
You all heard her too, right?
Oh.
There was so much you hadn't told us.
Is this Oscar or Ozpin?
How could you think that was okay?
Professor?
It's Ozpin, yeah.
What is your plan to defeat Salem?
I don't have one.
Wow. Oh my god, Qrow. Jeez.
I did not expect...
No one wanted me.
Oh.
I was cursed. I gave my life to you because you gave me a place in this world. I thought I was finally doing some good.
But you are.
Meeting you was the worst luck of my life.
Jeez. Wow, Qrow.
I did not expect him to be the one to...
Yeah, me neither.
You're right.
Oh.
What happened?
He's gone.
That bastard!
Oh.
Tell him you're not done yet!
No, this is different. He's gone.
He's shut down.
It's like he's locked himself deep inside my head. Our head? I hate this. I want it to stop.
Oh.
He just left us?
What are we gonna do now?
Wow.
Enough! We need to get a move on. It'll be dark before we know it,
Whippersnappers?
and every one of you is spewing negativity.
Oh.
That's something we don't
There's a
need right
trail
now.
over there. Trails usually lead somewhere.
Lady, I don't know who you think you are, but
No buts! I understand that you're upset. Honestly, I'm still coming to terms with the fact that this is humanity's second time around.
Ah.
Yeah.
If we don't
Yeah.
move, we die. And I'll be damned if I've lived this long just to die out here in the cold.
No, she's right.
Tsundere
Come
grandma.
on.
I love that she's the one that snaps them all out of it, though.
Yeah.
Aw. Wow, this is a sad track, though.
Yeah.
Jeez. I like that Ruby's still not lost at least her hopeful spirit.
Just going to be another one of his lives, aren't I?
Oh.
Yeah.
Of course not. You're your own person.
Don't lie to him, Ruby. We're better than that.
Wow. Qrow with the amazing dialogue, like
Yeah.
lines this episode. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Nevermore's look so tiny.
Yeah. I guess that means those crystals are huge.
Yeah.
So, this, like, the episode before this and this, like, doubly, triply confirms it.
You
can, yeah, okay, Hazel, Emerald, Mercury. You can get to Salem's area with no hoodoo, whatever. It's all easily physically accessible.
Although you might have to actually fly there, like it might.
Well, the dragon continent.
Well, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Tyrion.
Welcome back, welcome back.
Oh.
I do hope you missed us as much as we missed you.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Speaking of which, where is our fall maiden?
Emerald's not really someone you want to
Emeralds,
piss
come
off.
on.
Yeah.
Don't tell me something happened to her.
I will cut off more than just your tail.
Careful, little girl. Cinder isn't here to protect you anymore.
What makes you think she needs her?
Oh, that was cool. His rubbing against her blade.
Back off, freak.
Nice, Mercury.
Oh, don't misunderstand. I am in mourning just as you. Because it appears you failed our queen.
Oh.
And that is a tragedy.
Now I actually like Tyrion's craziness.
Yeah.
Because
I'm a little bit bothered that Mercury had to step in for Emerald, though, because she could make
well, she's in a
Tyrion
bad
dance to her
place here,
strings.
Jacob.
Yeah, emotionally and everything, I get that.
Not only that, they have to like,
Uh-huh.
they have to go to her and say
yeah.
what happened.
I would like you to explain to me how it is you failed so spectacularly.
Boy. Yeah. How?
The Fauna's militia split our forces.
Stop.
Oh, she's so quiet. And he's so terrified.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase the question. Who is responsible for your defeat?
Who? Who of them? Or who of the...
I take full responsibility.
But that wouldn't be fair now, would it? We all know who's truly to blame.
I don't...
Oh, crap! This is some, like, 8th level spell, like, summon... No.
See, the thing is, it doesn't...
Reminds me of, Darth Bane's apprentice.
Emerald.
What?
I want you to tell me whose fault this was.
You in the wrong camp, Emerald. You're in the wrong camp.
Cinder!
Oh.
We failed because of Cinder.
They did, kind of. I mean...
Yeah.
That's right. I want you to understand that failure. I want you to understand why Cinder must be left to toil in her isolation until she redeems herself.
Oh, nice. Cool.
You mean...
She's alive.
You're joking.
You're joking.
How could you know that?
Are you questioning our divine savior?
Of course not. Forgive
I'm
me.
a man of science. I don't understand
It's
all this voodoo
important
mystical
not
stuff.
to lose sight of what drives us. Love, justice, reverence.
I love the red glyph on the ground.
Yeah.
But the moment you put your desires before my own, they will be lost to you.
I like that.
In a lot of ways, though, Hazel did kind of fail.
He did, though. That's the point. He did put a little bit of his own, but not that much.
This isn't a threat. This is simply the truth.
Okay.
The path to your desires is only found through me.
Trust in me.
Wow. Everyone's basically in fear of her except Tyrion.
And so we must press on.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
The sword under Vacuo's academy, Shade.
Ma'am.
Oh, you interrupted her.
I have more to report.
She's like, this better be good.
Qrow and the children are taking the lamp to Atlas.
Not if I can help it.
And they're being led by Ozpin.
Nice.
See, the thing is, it wasn't necessarily like...
So soon?
He's the only man with a chance of getting through to Ironwood. If that happens...
You guys should,
Yeah.
You guys should leave.
Leave.
The opening.
Your Grace, I can...
I love the looking away.
Come on.
And this is why they follow her and fear her.
Right.
They do not understand her fully.
The funny thing is that if they had led with that, I wonder if that would have changed things. You know,
And they
her
said
thinking someone
to
had
blame
to be
is
to blame.
Ozpin.
Yeah.
But I think she wanted to test their loyalty because I'll save this for the discussion. The witch, indeed.
Yep. All right.
It gives me remember a Stardust?
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yep. Oh, these trees are actually wow.
Yeah.
Like these look really good.
Needles and everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like this is gonna let up.
I just want to get this stupid relic to Atlas.
Let's hope we don't have to walk all the way there.
I thought trails led somewhere.
Do you have nothing better to do than to harass a defenseless old lady?
Everyone quiet. Do you hear
The
that?
bickering is What is that? Oh. An abandoned town? Wow.
Hey, at least a place they could camp.
Okay. Brunswick Farms.
At least one good thing happened today.
It looks abandoned. It's still better than this.
Come on. I think we could all use some rest.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, there's nothing really odd looking about this place, so... Okay, gotcha.
Alright.
So the big thing that happened this episode was Qrow just stealing the show.
Oh yeah.
And then, oh my god, like, they came back and, like, Salem knows.
Yes.
So, I think I'm going to say it right now because this is essentially going to be in the episode anyway. But I think the reason why Salem knows
is because magic, yeah.
Well, no, the Grimm that she has inside Cinder.
Oh, sure.
And if she's the, the queen of the Grimm,
right.
She should know kind of, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, this is awesome. Okay.
All right.
So
that happened.
That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have basically the RWBY crew with Qrow and Oscar and Maria Calavera, and she just got bumped up to being a new kind of kind of favorite side character.
Yeah, she was great. Her lines this episode were awesome.
Yeah.
Another person whose lines though that were pretty crazy were Qrow. Was Qrow because I it makes sense that he would react this way, but I did not expect it from him because while he has the things that sort of justify it, he's also the responsible one of the group right now.
Right,
so,
he's the oldest. Actually, now Maria's the oldest, and I like that she showed her maturity.
That's true.
And Qrow being the one that had spent, we don't know actually how long he served Ozpin, but we know he's at least, around 40?
Somewhere around there.
So I would say that post basically Beacon, he was serving Ozpin. So let's go with 25 years. Or maybe closer to 20 years. Let's go with 20 years. 20 years where the guy basically acted like he was in his inner circle. Like Qrow was one of his right hand guys.
And he was in his inner circle, but the thing is that there was a layer past that Ozpin never really told them about.
Yeah, told no one.
Well, although they kind of knew that they didn't know everything Ozpin knew. They just didn't know how crazy some of the stuff was that he was keeping from them.
Right.
So, it's
and I think the main thing is that Qrow is going to come to understand Ozpin's perspective on things.
Right.
This was just his emotional gut reaction because
can you blame him?
Yeah, he can. You can't. I mean, yes. Also, he feels like he had a place with Ozpin, that Ozpin cared about him.
Right, Ozpin trusted him.
Yes, Ozpin trusted him, and now he knows that Ozpin has kind of been using him.
Yeah, he doesn't. He might not even see Qrow as a person, right? It's just, you're just one more person, one more tool, really, because I've done this so many times.
It's hard to think of you guys as people.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that once they talk more with Ozpin, Ozma, whatever, they'll come to realize that Ozpin really only has them as people. Like he can't actually see them as just tools, because I think for Ozpin to hold on to a semblance of sanity, he has to seek out these connections so that he feels like he's not alone in this.
So he doesn't go any crazier than he already is.
And he already is, exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think this is a unexpected reaction from Qrow, but looking on it with some context, we see that it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is something that isn't going to last for a while, but maybe Qrow is going to have to drink a bit more before he comes to this conclusion.
But that's really cool, because they've basically now set up a character arc for Qrow.
Yeah.
Like, because before it's like, okay, we might get backstory stuff and things like that, and that'll be cool.
Right.
but we didn't really have anything that would allow for more growth on his part.
Right.
Unless, like, Raven was around or something. You know? And even then, they already kind of had their places, you know, set in stone.
Yeah, their characterization was pretty much established by the fact that, you know, we know what Qrow's semblance is.
Right.
So that kind of tells us what kind of life he's probably had to lead up until this point.
Yep.
And we had even parts like Tai Yang talking about how, you know, he ingratiated basically Qrow into his kind of friend circle by messing around with him and stuff. But that shows that he, at the very least, didn't ostracize Qrow. He was a good friend to Qrow. And I think that's kind of a cool thing there. But other than that, post-Team Stark split up, especially depending on how long into their team being a team
they split
up.
Yeah,
Qrow might have only had Ozpin from then on out.
Yep.
And I would assume that was for years, not like a year or since, you know, Summer died, but like years.
Yeah, I'm sure he loves to make fun of Jimmy, but that only goes so far, you know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, but it's cool. It's cool seeing the group react in kind of the confusion state as well, and Yang feeling confused about all this. You know, anger comes out. And I think that's really good because of all the people in the group, I would expect her to lash out probably the most because she's got the most brimming right underneath the surface. Whereas Blake was just kind of like, wait, what are we doing now? Like, do we change the plan? Do we go for something different?
Yep.
And it wasn't like RWBY had some like, you know, great kind of like, oh yeah, I'm the leader. We're gonna do this. It's more of like, hey, guys, let's all, you know, cool. And then
she had the most common sense, other than maybe Maria, of just like if we don't have each other, warts and all, then we're screwed. So you know,
and she was trying to be a salve for Oscar when he came back.
Exactly, yeah.
But Ozpin has locked himself inside Oscar,
which is really cool because that shows a move where Ozpin made a move that is not the best, right? It's showing him getting emotionally compromised, right? Because with everything that's happened, you would almost think that Ozpin would just see this as a game, right? It's all just one big chess game. And
he would go cold.
But he
would try to direct things.
Exactly, and he would just do what he knows to be the best move. Whereas right here, unless this has happened before and he's like, yeah, I just need to disappear for a while so that they miss me, you know, which I would totally believe.
Yeah, it could be that and, you know, the emotional thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but maybe
it's just for Oscar's sake.
It could be just for Oscar's sake, but if it is for Ozpin's sake, that's really interesting because it's hard to give development and characterization to a character that's been around for so long because that coldness you can't really avoid, you know. So I'm really curious to see what happens here.
Yeah. Also, Oscar gets to essentially catch a break, and you know, Ozpin also gets to catch a break, which is kind of nice. I also am curious as to whether or not, in some ways, this whole going to a farm and them basically getting a place to sit down and rest kind of reminds me of, you know, Volume 5, where it's like, all right, we're going to go into a room and potentially talk a bit.
Right.
That's okay as long as they don't stay here, because they still have a goal. They're still going somewhere.
Right.
So it's more like, hey, let's spend a day here, not spend, you know...
Exactly. It's just like, you know, take a long rest, you know, and continue in the morning.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
The Maria Calavera taking so much, I would say, of a leadership role shows that she has a strength about her that is far beyond what she appears like.
Right. I
love that.
Yeah, I love that she doesn't seem to be fazed too much by everything that's just been said, because from our perspective, we don't know what her past has been like.
Right.
So we don't know sort of what is her norm, right?
Sure.
But whatever it is, it's not this, right?
Not this. That's correct.
You know,
yeah.
And the fact that she was able to sort of just roll with the punches and be like, I'm just still, you know, thinking about the fact that this is humanity's second go around. Like, you know, it does a lot to sort of show without showing the kinds of life that she's led.
Right.
And it's also something that's like, wow, Qrow, you're really lucky because in the time where you weren't acting the leader, right? And the time where you would need to more than ever, right? You didn't. You slipped up, and she picked up the slack. Yeah. Which is Yeah,
it gives characterization for Qrow to show that although he is a, accomplished huntsman, one of the best, one of the best, he is so wrapped up in his identity is so wrapped up in Ozpin that when Ozpin starts to show the fallacies of his humanity,
right?
What that in some ways kind of cool to show is that in some ways Ozpin was Qrow's god. He was his savior.
Well, yeah,
and that is unhealthy. You do not want to put a human being in your life as being your savior. I don't care if you love them to death, if they are perfect or whatever. They will fail you because they're human, and that's okay. It is okay for people to fail you.
And it's really interesting because that suggests Qrow was living in denial. Because like big time in denial. Because here's the thing, right? While they might not have known the details. They knew that Ozpin had made mistakes, pretty big mistakes. He openly admitted to RWBY, I've made more mistakes than any human being on this planet, right? This planet. But, yeah, that's a good point. Could it be a different planet? But, no, because Salem was still there. Yeah. No, that would be silly. But the fact that basically he would know, like, oh yeah, Ozpin is kind of out of his depth. He has a plan, but he doesn't really know what he's doing because otherwise he would have beaten Salem by now. Like that all that stuff. The fact that he can't really beat Salem, Qrow might not have been able to figure that out from the standpoint of no, there is literally nothing you can do to beat Salem, but he knew that this was kind of a losing battle. He knew how that the enemy was powerful, right? And that Ozpin knew the enemy was powerful and all of that. So. I think that says a lot about Qrow's character that this was able to perturb him so much.
Right. He's not as strong as he appears to be. He puts on a front, he puts on a cool demeanor for the sake of others in the same way that Ozpin does.
Yeah.
And it's funny that he would take, it's understandable why he would take, that because his whole life essentially has been built around this. But it is a subtle, smart thing to show that he is in denial because when someone else's cool demeanor that they put up for other people's benefit, for their hope, their positivity fades away, he's not like, oh yeah, this is exactly what I do.
Yeah, he doesn't have anything to fall back on,
Right. Maybe in some level, though, Qrow is a little bit more pragmatic than I would say someone like, I don't know,
someone else
essentially, because
Tai-Yang or something.
Yeah, Tai-Yang. That's a great example because. Actually, no, Tai-Yang's pretty pragmatic too. That's a good point. A lot of the adults have a very pessimistic view of the world. If you actually look at it, that's wait a minute. Actually, this ties back to RWBY again. One of the things I've always loved about RWBY is that she's really the only innocent character in this show now that Penny is dead. Like, if you think about all the characters that have been introduced thus far, Jean lost his innocence a long time ago in Volume 3.
When he was training with Pyrrha. No.
But if you look at all the adults in the story, a lot of them are very much like you would write adult characters. They have a very they've
seen some things.
Yeah, they've seen some stuff, and they've dealt with life and stuff, so they have lost that youthful optimism.
Right.
They've lost that glint of hope in their eyes.
Sure.
But I think what Ozpin's point of his character has been all this time is that he is trying to give humanity hope, and he's been like trying over and over and over again. And he came, I think, really close probably all throughout the years of doing this, like, potentially him being the King of Vale and stopping a huge war between the nations and stuff, and actually bringing them to a place of where there was peace. If you look back on where things were at pre-Volume 3, things were actually not that bad.
They were doing pretty good.
The Faunus were bearing the worst of it, actually, but other than that, like, Ozpin was doing okay.
Yep.
And you saw that he had people around him. So now that he feels like everything's been kind of brought back to square one for him. Like, he has to do this all over again, and Atlas might be preparing to go to war with, other places and stuff. He's just like, I thought I went through all this, and now they all know my secret and stuff, so I have to reevaluate. So maybe you're right. Maybe he's taking a break because they'll realize how much they need him and have him come back and be like, okay, we understand that we don't really like you.
But we need you.
But we need you.
Yeah.
In a way, the world needs Ozpin. And in the same way that that's the case, Ozpin needs them.
Exactly.
And I love that this direction that the show is taking is bringing things back to simple relationships. Simple character dynamics of bonding together, because when all is said and done, all we have is each other.
Right.
And then we shift over to the villains.
And that's the way that was handled. Okay, with Tyrion and all that stuff, and the fact that Emerald, of course, is very shaken because she thinks Cinder's dead at this point. Right. Fantastic, right? Because she would be off her game, and in that moment, Mercury steps in for her and stuff. And
but she was confident.
Hazel. But like she could have destroyed Tyrion, and that would have been amazing to see. I still kind of hope that happens eventually.
Her semblance is so busted.
Because it's 1v1 me real in IRL, bro. Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But then with Salem and how she handled everything, I really like that Hazel was like, it was my fault. Because he did mess up in some ways and stuff. But the fact that they didn't say, like, so Ozpin's back, like, that would have been, like, I imagine Salem still would have been really pissed that they lost. But she would have been like, she would have been like, of course he is, and then that would have, yes, it would have been a deflection, but it could have worked. But but Cinder is alone now. She must capture the Silver-Eyed Warrior to regain her honor and all that.
Salem literally said why she needs to redeem herself. I was like, we called it, Jacob. This is Cinder alone. It totally is.
They're just owning it now. They're like, yeah, of course it is. We knew you guys had been
Cinder needs to go on a redemption arc. We called it, and it's like, even Salem acknowledges it to the point where she's basically telling the audience what Salem's story arc is going to be. But I would love the twist of that Cinder is not going to come back to you. Cinder's going to go find RWBY. Cinder's
there's so many things.
There's so many things they could do because when I say find RWBY, I mean like go find her and like bring the pain. But there's so many things that could happen along the way. Okay, so big thing, Salem. We see now kind of where she's melded her magic and the Grimm powers. I would say in a more literal sense. She literally summoned like Grimm tentacles out of nothing. Now, remind me if I'm wrong, but like, isn't there some kind of like D&D warlock kind of summon things?
Oh, there's plenty of those.
Oh, plenty of that.
Yeah, varying levels and stuff. Yeah.
But if you've read the Darth Bane books, this is straight up visuals and everything. A Sith sorcery force technique.
Oh yeah.
Where what was her name? Xana.
Yeah.
An apprentice of Bane summons black hands of smoke that basically grasp onto you and just destroy
they
you.
literally call them tendrils and stuff. So it's like this is tentacle stuff.
And tentacle powers are always OP.
And they made them OP. It was great.
Yeah.
But and they are OP here. I love that Hazel is like scared of this. Like he puts 1 foot forward, but at the same time he's like, this is who I'm dealing with. Right. Now the thing that's interesting to me, right, is that Hazel seems like a very reasonable guy.
Yeah, he does.
Up till the point where it's his hatred of Ozpin, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's actually something that would have been interesting to hear, is because Salem didn't really like to hear, I accept full responsibility. He probably should have said why he accepted full responsibility. Like, Ozpin was there, I lost my cool,
Yes.
Because then, like, because that is kind of what happened. Like, Cinder got played, Raven beat her,
Right.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
But that is the way that Hazel did fail. But with how Salem was basically saying, I need one of you to blame.
Oh, well,
right? And now, the fact that Cinder wasn't there probably means that, she's saying, I'm going to be blaming Cinder, but, like, well, what do you think?
Okay, so let me know what you think about this, because I think that Salem knew. I think she knew who was to blame the whole time. I think she has a way to know everything Cinder is doing right now in real time through the connection that the Grimm inside her has. Like the Grimm inside Cinder gives her the ability to know Cinder is alive. Mm-hmm. Cinder is doing this. Cinder blah 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 blah. The one thing that might be a little bit tricky with that is that might mean that Salem knows Raven is the Spring Maiden,
right?
But that's not relevant.
Maybe it's just
right
like
now.
She knows that the thing that Cinder hasn't died yet,
Or maybe she can actually understand like some of Cinder's thoughts, because what might be a thing here is you realize Cinder took Ruby and made her desire to get Ruby, basically to get revenge on Ruby, to be higher than Salem's goal of the relic. So there were things that Cinder did, like choosing to work with Raven.
Yeah.
That basically ruined this. There was no reason really with the whole thing why they couldn't have just walked in one day. Instead of trying to set a trap, just walked in one day, and they needed the Spring Maiden to open the vault and stuff.
Right, but they could have tried to do something like when they went into Raven's camp. They could have just been like, yeah, we're burning everything, and then your maiden will come out and Emerald will be here,
and we'll win,
and we'll win, right?
Yeah, there's 4 of us and 2 of you,
exactly.
Forget her bandit camp.
They don't do anything.
Emerald and Mercury alone, waltzed through their front doors with
exactly. But even if they had to actually turn their attention to them, with a snap of her fingers, Cinder could have killed them all.
Yeah, and Watts was actually quick to call out Cinder on her BS of trying to go after Ruby versus going after the relic.
Oh,
and
sure.
Cinder was like, "Don't you forget who's in charge here?"
And
that was basically their moment of basically schisms of motivation. And I think Salem was at least aware enough of that.
Right. That Watts sends Salem a text.
Yes. I mean that works. That works too. But I like the idea that Salem is wanting them to show their loyalty to her by being honest, by not lying, by trusting her. The parallels between Ozpin and Salem here, where she's tired of being lied to. So she wants to make sure that her servants realize, you can't lie to me. Mm-hmm. If you do, I will know. And that's terrifying.
Well, and even if she couldn't know, from being able to read them and know that they were lying,
sure,
she also had the Grimm thing there that killed Lionheart, so she might have been observing the entire fight.
Yeah, that thing might have a limited perspective.
Although probably not, because she didn't know about Ozpin. But
but that's the thing. The Ozpin reveal happened once Cinder went down into the vault area.
This is true.
So there's a connotation there.
Yeah, and it's the things that Salem does in this episode, on some level, I'm totally on board with, right? Mm-hmm. And it's great, ways to show her character. The whole thing of hating being lied to and all that stuff. Love it. And I feel like I can't wish for too much from her, because she has been cosmically mucked with to just be sort of a being of evil, right?
Right.
Which is unfortunate. But there's a part of me that wonders why so many of them are still with her. I get that Emerald is I don't know about this. And Mercury might even be like, yeah, we're a bit out of our depth. Cinder's not here. Maybe we should just leave. But even someone like Hazel, Ozpin really is the only thing keeping him there.
Right. And that's why he seems like such a not evil guy, except for Ozpin.
Right.
It's that he wants to be on the winning side, and the winning side that gets him to Ozpin.
Well, right, but I don't know if he even cares about the winning side. In his mind, I get the feeling the winning side is just killing Ozpin over and over and over and over. Yeah.
But that seems like he's also remember, he's dealt with silver-eyed people before. Potentially Maria Calavera, if the whole thing of her being a silver-eyed warrior and losing her eyes, Hazel might have gone up to a woman like her
and Itachi
grabbed her
ripped them out.
Yeah, exactly. Just just gouged her. You know? So he's pretty messed up.
Yes, for
and
sure.
Tyrion is obvious. He worships her.
Uh-huh.
Watts, I think, actually is maybe the one that's on the more winning side of things.
Yeah, exactly. And with Hazel, here's the thing where I could see the reason that he's loyal to Salem. He's old, right?
Oh.
We know that he's ancient. He's an old enemy of Ozpin's. So I could see there being something where Salem basically granted him immortality or some form, something like that. She is his reason for being able to have lived this long.
Do we know that he's old?
Yes. We know that he is one of Ozpin's old enemies. That's all we really know. We don't know how old. His voice connotates that he is very old, but Ozpin talked about him and no specific years were thrown out or anything like that.
Yeah, but we don't know that means past life old enemy.
Sure, it could be something where he's the one that killed, Summer or something like that. Who knows, right?
Yeah, but I get the vibe more so that it's
not enough.
Yeah, I get the vibe that it's more like Hazel is in his 50s, and he looks good for in his 50s, right?
Yeah,
but 30 years, that's an old enemy.
Yeah.
If he's been an enemy of Ozpin since he was a young boy, that's an old enemy. That would put him in the 30 to 40 years of being an enemy of Ozpin.
Okay.
That's as long as Qrow's been alive.
Sure. It feels like one of those things where they could make it so that Hazel hasn't been alive long, unnaturally long.
Yeah.
But I feel like that would be a weird surprise in a sense because of how much they built him up as being this mysterious figure that is old at the very least, even if we don't know how old. And maybe it's just that I want him to be older because then that would be but if they did do that, that would be an additional anchor that they could have for Hazel to Salem.
Right.
Is that he literally exists maybe because she wills it, right?
Right. He could have a Grimm inside him as well, just like Cinder, and it's like his strength. I mean, or whatever.
But the stuff that we got from Hazel this episode, I loved it because even though it was something where he didn't take the main stage, he tried to, and Salem didn't like that. I am just all for the Uncle Hazel.
Yes, Uncle Hazel to Emerald and Mercury.
Uncle Hazel to Emerald and Mercury
is
awesome.
I
love it. It's so good. And the fact that they are probably going to they're at the very least considering leaving right now. They're
Emerald could leave whenever she wanted.
Emerald could leave whenever she wanted.
They would not be able to stop her.
But I get the feeling she would tell Mercury that she was going to go and be like, let's get out of here.
Well, I think they do everything together.
Right, they do everything together. Exactly. Yeah, at the very least, Mercury would follow her because...
That's a good point, though. I do think that one of them will have to take a leader-like role.
Yes.
Because Uncle Hazel won't leave with them.
Right.
I think Uncle Hazel will give them the opportunity to leave, and he'll be like, now, just know that if I see you again, and she demands that I kill you, then I'll have to kill you.
Right, and that's
please don't let me find you again.
And that interaction would be so good. They're actually leaving, and Hazel, because he's so close to them, he knows, and he's there, and he's just like, "What are you doing?" And then they're just like.
And Emerald's like, don't make me use my semblance on you, and he's like, don't worry, I'm not going to stop you. Just let me know.
No, or he could just be like, let's talk first. I know you're going to use your semblance on me, and that's fine.
Or you already have.
Right, or you already have.
Talking with it.
Right. And that's fine because then plausible deniability, right? I couldn't stop them. I was by myself, Emerald just, did her thing. But the interactions, the dialogue there,
that would be really
so good.
Tyrion, we get to see what his new tail looks like.
Yep.
Definitely looks like some kind of technological thing there. I like the connotation. I almost saw it flicker for a little bit when I was looking at it. What if it's a kind of a shock tail, kind of a stun kind of weapon?
It's a tail, but it's also a gun.
Yeah, but it's also a gun. Yeah, exactly.
I also wouldn't be surprised if they just had some sort of hey, him with a poison tail, it was nice. Let's make it be a retractable Neo style, just like Stinger that just comes out.
Okay, that's even better.
That way, it doesn't really change things. It's still he pokes you with this, and it's not good.
Yeah, because then the needle could inject the venom that's still stored in the tail. Yeah, brilliant. You got it. That's way better than some dumb electric shock tail. I was thinking.
Or it's a gun. But
okay, so Salem knows that Ozpin is back.
Mm-hmm.
She freaks. Mm-hmm. She says we must remind ourselves why we do this. What motivates us? She said, "Love, justice, and reverence." Now, here's the weird thing here.
Yeah.
What motivates us? That's some very inclusive language there.
Almost guiding.
Almost guiding. I would say almost definitely guiding.
Right.
Love, I like that in the context of what happened in the previous episode. What that might say is she's given them an actual version of events. They know, in some ways, how she's immortal. They know how she has messed with the gods. They know that Ozpin is an old enemy that reincarnates and has all this thing there.
Yeah.
And they are being told basically that Ozpin is the plague upon this world and he needs to be removed.
Sure.
So they see themselves as the good guys. That's how someone like Hazel and Watts could potentially be involved in this.
Say those 3 words again.
Yeah. Love, justice, and reverence.
So.
Reverence was the one that made me go, ooh.
So. Do those 3 apply to the 3 Salem henchmen that were in the room? Not counting Emerald and Mercury, because they were there because of Cinder, right?
I think
and that would have been power. So, love is Tyrion, I think. Justice, I believe, is Hazel.
Yeah.
And then reverence is Watts, by that logic.
Well, I think it applies to all 3 of them overall.
Kind of, yeah, right. Because like, Tyrion, for instance, could be love and reverence, right? You know, who knows? I don't know if justice is anything that he really thinks about.
No.
But
well, yeah, that could be it. Is that these 3 apply to all of the ones that are here.
Right.
And in some ways, some of them are like, no, I'm not really in the reverence category, like Hazel. He's a love and justice kind of person.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And the one way I could see Tyrion being a justice person is the whole eye for an eye, sort of like, people get what like
is old school justice there.
Yeah. But then with Watts,
we don't know Watts' motivation yet. He seems like the rat. He's in like Atlas. Like when we go to Atlas, we're gonna find out that Watts is like important.
Mm-hmm.
He's like a big deal in Atlas, and he probably has some justice in him. Actually, he sees what Atlas has become, and he's like, this is not a good representation of humanity. And I would rather have Salem, someone who probably could keep the world in a
devil I know versus the devil I don't kind of a thing.
Yeah, and he's probably just important enough to know what's going on in Atlas, like underneath the surface, but he's not important enough to maybe change what Atlas is doing.
Or he could just say, Atlas, I like actually the direction that they're going, but they're not taking it far enough. They're being ineffective. So I'm going to side with Salem, sort of the winning side, right?
Right.
Because I know if I am able to get Atlas working for Salem, then the thing that Atlas is actually really trying to achieve,
like with the whole potential penny thing, with maybe
exactly.
actually ruling the world.
Like I can exactly those darker sides to the Atlas intentions. I can make sure that they come true.
Sure.
And then Atlas will be the iron right arm of Salem.
Whoa, I like that. Maybe that's another thing. He is doing this out of love for his people. Love for Atlas.
So I'm going to make sure that they are safe. That Salem spares them because they will be the ones on top. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's great motivation right there. Because, it's one of those things where, with something like that, and then Uncle Hazel, for instance, you got great motivation for 2 of the people 2 of the 4 people in there if you don't count Emerald and Mercury, right?
Yeah.
And then it's just like, okay, how do we make Tyrion, maybe he's not supposed to have it. He's just the crazy Tyrion.
Well, no, he worships Salem. He's in love with her.
Right. And
he
is actively in love with her.
Yes, and also they know that Ozpin can reincarnate, so they know that they can't kill Salem. She is godlike. She is a goddess. And that's what he's called her in the past. So so I think he knows her version of the story.
Right.
And he's like, why would I not worship her? Like, he's one of those people that when they saw Salem and Ozpin floating, he'd be like, yes, please. Like, we're not worthy.
He's like, no. I'm not crazy. everyone else is crazy.
Yeah. Yes, it's like, why would you not worship her? Like,
what are you stupid? Like,
yeah. And that's I love his like he quickly jumps on Watts for being like, how dare you like question her? Like, do you even know what she is? And Watts is like the person who's kind of new to the group. He's like, yeah, I recently joined because I helped them with the whole beacon takeover with hacking the bots and everything. And it's
I feel like Watts is the one person that joined not through extenuating circumstances.
Right.
He sought them out and signed up. He's like, yeah, this seems legit. Yep. Whereas Cinder's like, whatever Cinder's thing was, power and all that stuff, and blah, and maybe
Salem sought her out.
Maybe Salem sought her out. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Kind of like how Cinder sought out Emerald. Right.
Right.
But then with Tyrion, it's like, well, Tyrion. And then with Hazel, it's like, no, I'm on a good old-fashioned revenge mission, against an immortal, right?
Yeah, maybe he was already hunting Ozpin.
Sure.
And they stumbled upon someone that's like, hey, enemy of my enemy is a friend.
Yep, that would be awesome. So
I think that this episode, while it is kind of a let's catch our breath and prep for the oncoming story, it actually solidifies characterization for a couple characters where it was a little bit vague. And Qrow is one of them. I also think that all this stuff we've discussed about Salem's evil council of evil, we already knew a lot of things about Hazel and with Tyrion and stuff, but just to add even another thing for Watts and stuff, he mentioned Ironwood in this episode. He was like, oh, and Ozpin, if he gets to Ironwood, I think what he's saying, he didn't get to finish his sentence because Salem.
Yeah.
But I think what he was saying was that I've actually got Atlas, like, I've got them moving the way I want. If Ozpin comes back, that will upset the delicate balance that I have with things moving along that way.
They can listen to me, but if Ozpin comes back,
everything I say is overwritten.
Yeah.
And he might be secret enough there, like he might not be
right, like no one's seen him. Like that was actually one of the things that I was really confused by in the previous volume, that he revealed himself to Raven and her tribe
because they're anti-Ozpin at the very least.
Exactly. They're anti-Ozpin at the very least, but Watt seems like the kind of person where he would put on like the disguise glasses and everything before he goes to see Salem, because he doesn't want anyone to know that he actually serves her, right?
Right.
Because he's the manipulator, as far as things seem. We haven't seen him.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything with him really.
Yeah.
But I like this theory train we were going on with him.
Yeah. But I want more Uncle Hazel. I know it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like such a small amount that we actually get, but but what we get, I feel like, is going to be great.
Oh, wait a minute. Here's another way they could go with Uncle Hazel.
What?
Emerald's like, I gotta leave, and Hazel's like, don't. You're safer here than you are out there.
Oh, yeah.
Because basically he's saying, like, I understand.
And I can protect you from in here.
And I will protect you, yes.
Oh, no, and that's... Uncle Hazel? Yeah, of course, right? Because what was it? His sister that died because of Ozpin?
Yep. His younger sister.
Yeah, his younger sister.
He almost called her like his little sister. Like she might have been really
right.
young.
Exactly. Like the I'm thinking like Pride and Prejudice with like Mr. Darcy and his sister, where it's like like he's almost her parent, kind of a thing, because their parents might have been dead or whatever, right? Because it's the whole Hansel and Gretel thing. I think it was.
I think it was Hansel and Gretel. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were closer in age.
Right. But the idea that it's like they look out for each other and stuff, and now here's this this girl who is out of her depth, who doesn't have Cinder to watch out for her anymore, and Emerald and Mercury are basically like brother and sister at this point.
Yeah.
So
maybe he's seeing them and he's like, whoa. He's like, I don't want to see these kids die for some stupid thing, but I also know that if they go out there, eventually, their life is going to end in misery.
Which is
and pain.
Again something that makes me hope that Hazel is actually really old, because it's like that's a far-reaching perspective kind of to have.
Yeah, either one is great.
Yeah, like both would be amazing, but like if it is, if it's something where they leave, then that's just great, because it sort of just it rips your heart out, right? It's more of the oh man, that sucks. But it's so good. But if they stay, then it's more opportunity for Uncle Hazel. So
it also would show, depending on which one he chooses, that whether or not he cares about Salem's end goals or not.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he lets them leave, he doesn't care as much about Salem's end goals as he does about getting revenge on Ozpin.
Sure.
And if he lets them stay, that means he cares more about that.
Right.
Than
because he's so sure that
freedom.
She's going to win, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like he knows. That's the thing. I feel like they have to have their own version of events that was told by Salem to get her to them to trust her.
Yeah.
Because you could paint Ozpin really easily as a villain.
Oh,
like,
sure.
It'd be very easy, despite the fact that she's literally in a evil aura, black tentacles, grim queen monstrosity and stuff. She could paint herself as the victim. Because remember, she doesn't blame herself.
Right. Although she very openly displays that, leave, because I'm about to have one of my episodes, I'm very upset right now, and if you stay, I will hurt you, it's one of the things where it's like, okay, we acknowledge this and we sort of like put up with it kind of a thing.
Right.
For good reason, right? Because Salem's Salem.
Yeah. Strength is strength, though, in this
exactly.
case. Ozpin is definitely the weaker of the two.
Exactly.
He has the advantage of being able to be with all these people, but when you look at it from the people with Salem's perspective, she's not alone.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, she
even if
works
she
with all these other people and stuff.
Yeah, but even if she was, she'd still win.
Eventually. I do like the connotation, though, that she still drove them away by her acts of display, which is a thing to actually reinforce that she is actually alone in her mind.
Yep.
None of these, these people are all tools.
Oh yeah,
the she almost told them, your only way to get what you want is to do, what I want.
Exactly, and the fact that she was so sort of unforgiving, and the fact that she was basically, and granted, she probably already knew whose fault it was, that it was Cinder's fault and all that stuff. But even then, she didn't really know the details. Otherwise, she would have already known that Ozpin was back. So this seemed to be something where she was saying, I need to have blame placed because your only purpose is to get results, right?
That actually reminds me of something. I think that Cinder did know that was Ozpin. Do you remember in Volume 5 when... This is the thing that I need to go back and check on. Let us know in the comments which one it is. But I think there's a part where... I think it's... Okay. It's Raven and Cinder talking with... and they're about to go down to the vault. And they're like, Ozpin's here? And then Raven goes, is that a problem? And Cinder goes, I'm not sure. But whatever it is, we need to go down and get the vault... done
I don't know.
I don't know if that was the case.
Right.
So if that was the case, then I don't think Salem has a perfect awareness of what Cinder knows.
Sure.
It's more probably the thing of she knows what's going on internally with Cinder.
Right.
If anything.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have a eyeball view through Cinder's view.
Right.
So throw away my theory on that. But I feel like that scene happened where...
Or at the very least, she would know that Raven exists and that she's the maiden and all that stuff. And then there'd be other things because of that. But that... Yeah. Salem's song is divide, right? And she's all about dividing people. Well, you don't want to do that with your own people. And this was specifically something where she was dividing them. She was making specifically Emerald, who looked up to Cinder so much, turn on Cinder, right? Basically throw Cinder under the bus. Dividing them. That is an effective tool to make it so that maybe Emerald will, not side with Cinder if Cinder went against Salem, right? But it's not something good for making Emerald to continue to work for Salem.
Yeah.
Right?
It just makes her scared.
Exactly.
And scared people go either into fight or flight mode.
Right.
And neither one is good for Salem.
Yeah, and I would think, and it felt kind of weird, because I get that she's been cosmically mucked with, but Salem has been around for a long time. You would think that in the same way that Ozpin has that coldness to him, that she would too.
Oh.
At least some of it. Well, because she would know what works and what doesn't. That while she herself is, basically all-powerful and immortal and all that stuff, she still needs these tools. Right.
I think that the main thing we can get from this is that she really doesn't care about Emerald and Mercury that much.
Not even as tools?
Well, no. She cares about them as tools just enough, but I think she's so like out of touch with the whole idea of mortal beings also, that she has any sense of urgency, really.
Sure.
So one of the things that's really cool about writing immortal characters is you can go into these kind of, not really cliche, but kind of stereotypical characteristics of immortal beings, where...
Because there's a reason the cliches exist.
There's a reason the cliches exist, yeah, exactly. Where it's like, oh, I don't care what day it is. It's like, I'm more like, what year is it, you know?
Right, or
and then,
what decade.
Yeah, what decade. And then there's the, oh, my memory is either like perfect, like for some reason.
Right.
Because they just have no decay of memory in their brain because of,
because they're
plot
immortal.
reasons, because they're immortal.
Yeah, because actually that's a good point. If you were immortal and your body didn't deteriorate, then you would think that you actually would have basically a perfect memory.
Perfect memory.
Because like the whole idea of like losing memory as you get older, well, you wouldn't have to deal with that because you don't get older, you know.
Because you would stay perpetually, 40 years old or 30 years old or wherever she was when...
And if you did have that problem, then immortality would suck.
Yes.
Because...
Yeah. So another one is the lack of sense of urgency. When you are a mortal being, you want to outrun death, basically. You want to do everything you can before you die. And if you're immortal, especially if you've been immortal for 1,000,000 years or something like that, you're just like, I don't care about these minutia little details.
Right.
But the fact that she has all this emotion, all this kind of a hot response to this thing, it's that the one area in a way similar to Hazel, the one area where she... has this problem is with Ozpin.
But except like yes, but she still hated that they failed. Like one of the things that I would think is that if she was immortal, right? Well, since she's immortal, right? Since she's been doing this for so long, it's like, oh, hey, RWBY doesn't need to go for 20 volumes. It could go for 2,000. It's all fine by me, Like I don't need to have my plans like go at any certain pace. I mean, the writers probably kind of need that to happen for the story purposes, because otherwise it'd get into almost not even a story because it'd be so long form. Okay, but just the fact that she could have just been like, oh, yeah, I can work with that. That's happened before,
right? But that doesn't inspire fear, and
exactly.
In people like Watts. Like, think about it this way: like,
yeah.
she doesn't care at all about Emerald and Mercury in comparison to how she cares about Hazel, Watts, and Tyrion.
Right.
So, in a way, if she starts showing inconsistency in her Dark Lord, visage and stuff. Then she loses some of that a little bit.
And she probably sees it as something where it's like, hey, if I burn these ones out, I can just get more.
I'll just get more. I love the idea that because Salem can't be killed, she has no fear of repercussions upon her.
Right.
So that's why I don't think she actually cares about Emerald and Mercury in that way, because, oh no, you have a semblance that is actually kind of unique and dangerous. No, I don't actually care. I have powers, I have resources that you could not even fathom.
Right.
Like, oh, you can manipulate reality? You don't even want to know what I can do. Like, perception of reality, you don't even want to know what I can do with magic.
Yeah,
you don't even want to know what kind of grim I've been working on in the backyard. Like, like, in the same way that Salem messed with a god, messed with gods, basically, Emerald and Mercury are ants compared to Salem. And I like that this here shows that, yes, she's not doing the wise leader kind of thing, because she's not a wise leader.
Right.
She's pretending that they're all their motivations are the exact same as hers.
And if they're not, well, then she'll find out.
Or you just have to accept that it is. Like I have enough power at my disposal that your motivations are mine because you're in proximity of me. Like, it's absolutely nonsensical, but it's what happens when you're in front of that much power and fear,
here's how the way I could sort of make it make sense is that she's so proud at this point, right? Because she's always been proud, right?
Always.
But by now especially like, because she doesn't really care if something that she does results in negative consequences for her, because in the same way that she cannot be killed, she probably sees herself as infallible.
Yep.
Right? She has the right, the inherent right to do whatever she wants, and any negative consequences are not her fault.
Yeah. That ties back perfectly into episode 3, Jacob. Well said. What are we going to do? Whatever we like. We finally had freedom. Then she kills Ozpin.
Right.
the whole thing of the gods constantly reminding her of how entitled she was and how arrogant and haughty she was to demand things of her creators in this respect. Yeah, and then she blamed everything else. She cursed the universe except herself. That's the only...
So she's doing the same thing. She's demanding things of her underlings that she might not even be able to do. Because, you know, even if she's immortal and eventually she would win, she wouldn't necessarily say, get the you know, the God Rock. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
she's not omnipresent.
Yeah,
she can't be everywhere at once.
Right. You know,
like we might see her eventually leave the castle, aka like, you know, like
go
Morgoth or something
or whatever. You know,
yeah.
But the idea is that she would still have limitations.
Right.
So, you know, as long as, like, just because she can't be killed doesn't mean she can't be beaten.
Yep.
You know, at least temporarily.
And that's the thing I'm excited about, is the idea that when they said, "How do I destroy Salem?" He said, Jin said, "You can't." And
did they say, "How do we destroy Salem"?
Either said destroy or defeat. I don't think he said
defeat.
Maybe
it was... Okay.
I have to go back and check because I watched that episode like a bazillion times, but I'm pretty sure he said destroy. And the thing is that was the wrong question to ask. Or it should have been as vague as possible. It should have said, how can Salem be defeated? Because then it's not necessarily how can I destroy Salem or how can I defeat Salem. It's in all, and then they might have said
world lines, you know,
right? And then they might have just said that's a future question. You can't answer that. Like I can't.
Sure, or you attack her heart, you know.
Right. And I think that there's definitely ways Salem can be defeated. I just don't think she can be killed or destroyed.
Right.
And that's probably the crazy thing about this, is that in the same way that Salem has, you know, all this power, she is limited to working with underlings. So I'm with you in that Emerald and Mercury are going to consider leaving very soon, and we're going to get an Uncle Hazel interaction
that will either cause them to stay or leave.
Yeah. And I'm like either one is going to be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's going to be so good.
So guys, this got a lot of discussion, way more than I thought it was going to be for this little episode, because we actually got, I would say, a little bit of cool extra characterization for the antagonists.
And hey, characterization goes a long way. Like,
even if it's in the theory territory, Eric, because a lot of it is just kind of a semblance of characterization, if you will, just a little bit being tossed out there, and we get to kind of add those together and see if it coalesces into some kind of an image of a character. Because the characters of Salem's Council are kind of caricatures at this point for the most part.
They're deviating.
But they're getting more.
Yep.
So guys, this is awesome. If you want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, it'll probably be up within about 24 hours of this episode being public and available on Rooster Teeth's website for all members. We have our timer-based reactions for this up available on Patreon. So check those out. Link is in the description below. We also have access to our Discord there for all patrons, where you can chat with us live about the episodes coming out and get into all the theory crafting and stuff there. It's really good. Or, you know, get involved in our events that we have going on in there, or just talk about stories, or just whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.